Good morning, this is Heather Hoffman and I have a fun shaker card design with some inlaid gold design elements to share with you today. I'm using an older release from Reverse Confetti. This is the Wheat Confetti Cuts and it comes with a solid image and more of a detail outline image. For my card today I'm going to use that detail outline image. I've already die cut it 3 times from a panel of white cardstock to get it all in a neat row. Use a little bit of post-it tape to hold it in place so you can get those nice and even. And then I die cut it again 3 times from gold mirror cardstock. Now keep those white inlaid pieces, you can use those for something else. In fact, if you pop back for my video next week, I'm going to share a fun way to use those as well. I added a little thin line of adhesive around the back and I'm attaching a panel of vellum in the back. Since I want to inlay these, I kind of need something to hold them in place and something to adhere them to. I could do it right on my card base, but since I end up making a shaker card out of this, the vellum works really well as a just an element to kind of hold these in place and also hold my shaker pieces in place. I'm using just a detail glue pen to add my adhesive to the back and then inlaying them starting at the bottom and then just pressing them up so that they fit into place. Now that I have all 3 of those adhered in place, we'll move on to the next step. And originally I actually wasn't even planning on making this a shaker card. This was kind of an afterthought as I set it in place here. My card base was created with Piggy cardstock, and originally I was just going to pop some foam adhesive behind it just to kind of let that sheer vellum kind of shine a little bit so you could see, and it would soften the pink behind and just kind of add a little bit of layer and depth. But as soon as I ended up putting the foam adhesive around the outside, I decided, it would be kind of fun to fill this with something and turn it into a shaker. So if you're going to do that, make sure that your foam adhesive seals all the way corner to corner like I'm doing here. I'm just trimming my foam adhesive into nice thin strips so that it doesn't show behind each of those wheat die cuts. And then I'm filling it just with some small iridescent confetti that will show kind of fun through the vellum. The vellum will soften the effect of it, but you'll still be able to kind of see and hear that shaker in there, which is kind of fun. If you want it to show more, feel free to use acetate or something else. I have another piece of vellum that I've trimmed to fit behind, so this is one fully self-contained element, and then I can adhere it onto my card and I won't have to worry about anything falling out because it's already all sealed together. I'm going to add a sentiment underneath from a newer release called So Many Sentiments. It's a great basic sentiment set, and I love all the little tiny thin strip sentiments that you can find on this one. I'm going to stamp it using my MISTI to make sure I get it lined up straight and where I want it. And then I'm going to use some kind of tone-on-tone color stamping. I'm going to stamp it with Flamingo Dye Ink, which is a deeper pink, instead of just black or something else. So the pink will just kind of add a little pop of color. And then another change as I started to put this on, it felt like it just needed one more thing. So I pulled out another older release called Edge Essentials, and I picked one of those, just one of those detail edges, and I die cut it from Flamingo cardstock. And the great thing about that is that'll coordinate perfectly with my sentiment. And this one edge border I chose to use actually is I only had to cut it once, and then I could use both sides of it because it was a perfect little wave scallop that was exactly identical. The negative and positive cuts were exactly the same. So great way to get 2 for 1, as it were. I just trimmed off that second little strip off my piece of cardstock. I'm adhering those, just kind of tucking them behind so that they peek out just a tiny bit. And then I'm going to add, being careful not to want my adhesive to show through the vellum, even though the shaker will hide it a little bit. I'm just carefully putting thin strips of adhesive just around the edges so that it will adhere and hold firmly onto my card base. But again, I don't want that adhesive to show from behind. And there you go, a fun shaker, kind of an elegant, soft design. I love these colors together. Thanks so much for coming by today. Have a wonderful day.